public image versus private reality. Happy Husband Appreciation Day. I couldn't imagine a better man for us. Shanann Watts wrote next to their photo in April. You spoil us with love and attention. You put up with three impatient, demanding women in this house. Shanann Watts continued. You work so hard every day to provide for us. I love you so much. So the uncomfortable question began here. Was Chris Watts an empath or the real victim here? Was Shanann Watts a narcissist or the real abuser? Or was this a case of mutual deception where both husband and wife were deceiving each other themselves? Was Shannon controlling or she image driven women? What kind of personality was Shannon Watts really? And did she ignore Chris Watts' psychopathic warning signs early or before? On social media, they appeared to be a happy couple with complete family, but internally, they were financially strained, stressed, and emotionally disconnected with each other. Shannon worked in direct selling where positivity isn't optional anymore, it's required. Lifestyle branding, constant posting in front of camera, and projecting successes are part of the job itself. And in that world where showing off is not exist, it's survival. The image become the product and life slowly turns into performance. So, who Shannon Watts was, first of all. So, if you see, Shannon's core identity appeared highly, motivated individual shaped by a loving family, and she needed constant fuel, attention, praise, admiration, and also expressed fully of herself through control and image management and validation from others. Her personality was extremely defined, vocal. She was assertive, expressive, and highly visible on social media. She even shared almost every aspect of her life, her routines from her children to her marriage, all her struggles throughout the social media. She was emotionally expressive and intense, organized and goal oriented, scheduled, and day to day visibility is far more important to her. On the difficult side, she also showed controlling, image driven, and anxious traits. Where this is where independence is often confused with control, and independence means self awareness, adaptability, and the ability to adjust to the circumstances, even the reality, including the financial strain and the limits that they had, right? But control means needing reality to match what I feel in my internal script, where where what exists inside must be displayed outwardly as perfectly to the world. Also, Shannon showed more control through independence. She made major lifestyle decisions depending on the family's image, and she managed finances, she managed routines, children's activities, their schedules, their schools, and the social media narrative also. In these all things, Chris didn't participate as a true partner. He just followed silently and nodded along for what Shannon said, and he was seemingly withdrawn. All this while, Shannon lived inside a constructed narrative, a form of self deception to oneself, reinforced by social approval. I'm getting applause from all, so this is good, right? So then, who was Chris Watts was? So Chris showed common traits of emotional suppression and seems like conflict avoidant. People like this don't express their irritation more openly. They don't argue. They don't set verbal boundaries. Please don't do that. I don't like that. They won't do that. They don't say no. and which is very crucial in this particular case, because instead they comply passively, which means while resentment that is building up, growing silently inside within, right? So passive compliance in this doesn't mean agreement, they are agreeing to you. No, no, they are not nodding and they're not doing anything. It means just emotional avoidant. And whenever anger is never expressed, it doesn't disappear itself. It just accumulate from within inside so fully, and the communication will not be normal. This is like a deception through silence technique, and that's what Chris followed. And when Chris met Shannon, the early dynamics, how was it built up at that time? Like when Chris met Shannon, she was physically ill at that time, falling out of divorce, and then was emotionally vulnerable at that time. This made Chris feel more important as she was more vulnerable, central to her lifestyle, and he was feel needing and validated by her. So the dating dynamics were kind of mixed. She pushed him away at beginning, but then canceling dates, appearing distance as she was out of divorce, delaying intimacy. Later she accommodated, but previously she was divorced, so it was like later she allowed him, but it was not so easy for him, right? So these two experiences collided. Some covert narcissists like Chris, they just see like she's setting a boundary against me. He may have taken like how Shannon behaved personally. He rushed into attachment in the beginning, feeling humiliated like by her independence. She's not loving me for my all the activities, and quietly, he felt resentment. And that time itself, resentment might have began so early, but it might have stayed suppressed because also Shannon later needed him, right? She later provided him, showed him gratitude. So, not living a good life, but here, if you could see, posing a good life on social media and the MLM culture. Because if you see, this was not about posing a good life than living one, but exaggerating it. And Shannon represented something very common in today's social media life, that is built around visibility and external validation, right? The validation of validation seeking by showing happiness, showing success, motivational course and strong, individual person. But maintaining this image comes at a cost of emotional, relational, and financial strains, right? She was deeply involved in Thrive, a MLM system that encourages constant positivity posting by that influencer, that is perfectly staged success and non-stop promotions, right? So what these systems pressure to that particular influencer or to the people is, you show your happiness in front of the camera, show her confidence and show luxury by buying cars in loans, houses in loans, show your perfect family even when you fight, sell an illusion basically for easy success, right? This creates cult-like thinking, and obviously, Shannon believed that following this system would lead to her life success. So, like many MLM participants and influencers, she spent money she can't afford. She did. She hosted expensive events, and even she maintained the illusion for years and years. So, this fed admiration and social status. But these are not narcissistic traits by default. She is not qualified as a narcissist by doing these. They are often byproduct of participating in the toxic cult like system itself. So financial reality, facts, and the image, what is the fact and what is the image? So if you see, the financial reality contradicted the image of this particular couple. They were deeply in debt for 3 years, and also you could see Shannon's close expensive full-time daycare costing around $25,000 per year for their child. So nearly half of what Chris take home pay was around. They added a house they couldn't afford, and prior the bankruptcy, and even around you they were using 401k money to pay bills for which they have planned for debt, and this is a perfect financial trap to appear fuel. fuel overspending, right? MLF culture blurred boundaries between their healthy and unhealthy. So by promoting and also increasing debt and anxiety, we don't know their private lifestyle or financial decisions, right? But the evidence suggests that financial planning largely came from Shannon and not from Chris, while Chris silently nodded everything with the building resentment of the debt that they are falling in trap with. And what is the personality mismatch that you could see with Chris appeared to lack, a strong internal identity. He was emotionally dependent on an adult person to regulate himself. He seemed to be a conflict avoidant person, a shame sensitive person, and needed others to regulate his own emotions, not by himself, right? His mother or his wife, later his mistress, he used. So Shannon's intensity highlighted his internal void. He might have been jealous. This mismatch might created a not created open conflict, but it might have created a silent resentment. Shanann, meanwhile, was extroverted lady, expressive, socially alive lady, and she confided in friends more, brought energy into space wherever she entered, and appeared vibrant. So, if you could see two different personalities, two different emotional systems, when they were put together for a long time, it collided with each other. And what is the public exposure that we have seen, and which caused by the silent treatment here? So public exposure means constant social media presence might disrupt or the peace of mind more than what people realize, right? So what energies an introvert can suffocate, and what energy where extrovert feel good might suffocate an introvert, and limited display time fixed into a role he no longer wanted to. So privacy disappeared for Chris completely due to Shannon's social media exposure. Psychological escape became completely impossible for him. He was not exploding, but he was shrinking inside himself with resentment, where that grows stronger in people who feel, shame when they are seen. They feel like they are naked. For them, visibility itself becomes the vulnerability. So, in that case, weeks before the murder of August 2018, what happened? What was the condition where Shannon was fully confused and emotionally distressed about their marital affair? Her text shows clearly to the friend stating that Chris told me last night he's scared to death about this third baby. She wrote on August 7th, he's happy with just Bella and Celeste and doesn't want another baby, which means that he has changed. I don't know who he is anymore. He said, we're not, compatible anymore. He refused to even hug me, refused to kiss me, refused for couple counseling, all those things, while she sensed some emotional withdrawal from Chris Parr's lack of touch from him or affection or intimacy. She even tried to, repair the relationship, the marriage. One person was still investing, the other had already checked out. Chris was already moved on with his mistress. So the letter of August 10, 2018, where Shannon's letter showed vulnerability. If you could see, that is not about narcissism. She was fully vulnerable at that point. She expressed pain, longing, and fear of losing intimacy and the marriage relationship. She repeatedly asked, "Tell me what you need, Chris." She believed, counseling and communication could repair their relationship, fix the things that is falling apart. She showed control, but also showed gratitude. If you could see, she thanked him and hoped, also willing to compromise to save the relationship. What she didn't know at that time was that Chris was already having an affair with Nicole Kessinger. He had emotionally checked out and replaced her already weeks before, and decided on annihilation. She doesn't know. So the letter shows fear of blindness to danger. She had awareness of warning. She has no awareness of warning signs. She didn't know what she was already into, and she was already unsafe, right? So that is a point of vulnerability. And also you could see that during this particular time, Shannon was 5 weeks pregnant, I think. She was completely exhausted and emotionally exposed already, hoping for reconciliation with carrying baby. She shared relationship books, and also feared his reactions to the third child, and financial strains that they are facing. How Chris murdered pregnant women, not a normal women. That makes it not a three but a 4 murder, right? So the way that he entered the relationship was not avoidance style; it was cruelty basically. So what you can say, important lessons about sex here, if you could see in this particular case, they had sex before the murder that just happened, right? So how is that possible? So if here it means sex, if you have sex, it's not love, calmness is not safety, and silence is not emotional connection that you are having with that person. That can, these all can coexist without care, without any empathy, and without that person having any attachment towards you. They might have moved on already. So what is the conclusion that we can draw here? This was not a perfect wife and a monster husband that we are discussing today. It was a woman who cared too much, too blindly, much about appearance, who was focusing on appearance, and with the resentful psychopathic men who choose annihilation over divorce, and annihilation over accountability or responsibility. Four innocent children, three innocent children, and one lost their life. A family that looked normal until it didn't. And the most uncomfortable truth remains the same. Like, if we ignore, they ignore the emotionality, doesn't disappear, it just mutates.